Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel, and today we're going to be doing a redo from the live stream because I realized my network settings were just not that great. This study course session is for you if 1, you want an accountability partner, 2, learn and grow together, and 3, want to get some studying done. And I want to give a community shout out, so thank you so much to Hakeem as well as DS12 for your wonderful donations to the ATC or Angie Tech Cafe Discord community, because if it wasn't for y'all, this community wouldn't exist today. Thank you, Hakeem, for donating for the ATC's CTF, because this CTF that we had initially planned for January 2026 was not going to happen. I really do appreciate every single one of you for donating to this wonderful ATC Discord community, because I realized when I first made this Discord community, I didn't know how much impact it was going to make, to be honest, because I just made it to connect with people, network with people in the cyber community, share educational resources, do tutorials, coffee tea chats, which are networking events. And then we had other events too, such as language exchanges. Now we have an international language exchange with the following languages: English, Spanish, and Korean. Korean wasn't in there before, but now it's in there because of high demand. So now we have 3 languages. I am conversational level with all 3. I'm really thankful. And if you want to donate today, please go to my Buy Me a Coffee link and put your donation in, and I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Thank you, everybody. So now we're going to do the Linux Fundamentals Part 1. Embark on the journey of learning the fundamentals of Linux. Learn to run some of the first essential commands on an interactive terminal. Now you might be thinking, what the heck is a terminal? If you know what that is, comment down below of what your definition is of a terminal. When I think of a terminal, I do not think of anything like this, where you can just click on things on a screen. Like you can just click on next or continue in like a Windows operating system, for example. When I think of terminal, I think of a black screen where you can type in commands on the computer to automate things and to get things done, such as ls, for example, which is listing what's in your directory. You can also, on TryHackMe, when you go to help, there are write-ups, and you can make your own write-ups too, folks. Please don't forget to do write-ups. Can't emphasize that enough, because you don't know who's going to be watching, and it does not have to be within TryHackMe. You can also do this on a blog post, which is really what I recommend, or a GitHub, somewhere that can be on your digital portfolio. Let's begin the room without further ado. And look at this, we have a cute penguin for the introduction. It's going to talk about different types of things that we're going to do on there. I'm assuming we're going to be doing things like ls and other different commands. And let's get started. We are in task 2, a bit of background on Linux. So yes, Linux is important in cybersecurity because a lot of systems use Linux, including those that are not in cyber, like the point of sale systems in registers and shops. Other businesses use Linux. It's free for one. It is also secure, but it's not the most secure. We can have a debate on that, but I do like Linux. There are different versions of Linux. I also want to know, folks, have you made your own Linux operating system? I would really like to know, because that's something that's not really common nowadays. And if it's a project that you're working on, please share it with folks, because I want to know what that's all about. And I feel like someday I would like to make my own Linux one, but we'll see. The level of difficulty is from intermediate to advanced. I think it's not exactly for beginners because there's a bit of a learning curve. Hey, why not try it? You never know. There's so many different versions. Now we're going to answer some questions, and you will press submit. And if you're correct, it will turn green for those who are very new to TryHackMe. We're going to do some research, and what was the first release of a Linux operating system? This is going to burn, because I still consider Linux to be a very young operating system. Just saying. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is Google dorking? You're going to use some operators like all in text, and you're going to find in this situation the first release of the Linux operating system. Put that in quotes. You don't have to put in quotes. And you will press enter. The output will be, in this case, we're going to be searching out and filtering what the first release was, which is 1991. So that is the answer for this. If you didn't like the AI answer, it also tells you here, Linux began in 1991 as a personal project by Finnish student Linus Torvalds to create a new free operating system kernel. Now we know what the answer is. It will be 1991. I still think that's a young year. Don't come for me. I feel like this video is aging me. Okay, so task 3, interacting with your first Linux machine in the browser. So what we're going to do in this case is start the machine, and this will take some time to load. And when you're done with the room, you can terminate it. In this case, we're going to start the machine and give it a few moments for this to load. So after this loads, we will press complete. But I want to look at the next task. Well, this is loading because it's taking some time to load today. No worries. So the next task is running your first few commands. Yep, we went over the difference between the GUI and the terminal. So it's purely text-based and it's intimidating at first, but have no fear. We're going to enter some commands and things will go smoothly with that. We're going to have a few commands listed here, but there's so many different ones. And I found a free Linux book that you can use for further studies of the Linux operating system. It is such a good book, and I learned a lot from that. Let's get into it. If you do this one command on the terminal, echo, it's going to bring out anything that you put in there. So if you do echo, for example, ATC, you will get ATC. If you do echo ATC Community is the best with exclamation point, enter, you're going to have ATC Community is the best, because it is. If you do UMI, I see this a lot in cybersecurity presentations. I think you're really awesome because I know for a fact you use Linux. And in this case, it is TryHackMe. It's not always going to be TryHackMe. It can be a different user that is on the Linux operating system. That would be for a future lesson if you want to get deeper into that. Here are the other questions. If we want to output the text TryHackMe, what would the command be? It would be echo TryHackMe. So what is the username of who you're logged in as on your deployed Linux machine? This is TryHackMe, again, lowercase. We will also check task 3 since this is clearly deployed. Now we're going to get to task 5, interacting with the file system. Yes, we've only done echo and who am I, and we have other ones here. So ls, it's going to list anything that's in there. So if we do ls right now, we're going to see 5 things. 1 is access log, 2 is folder 1, 3rd one is folder 2, 4th one is folder 3, and 5th one, which is folder 4. If you see something here, it's really interesting because that access log, for sure, if you're in cyber or you're aspiring to be in cyber, logs tell you a lot of things of what's going on in the system. It has some juicy information that I believe is worth investigating. If you want to get deeper into LS, they have something called LS Tech LA, and you can find hidden things that you probably wouldn't find before with just a simple ls. You see what I mean? You find bash, cache, and other interesting things. If you notice here, it's got the R, W, XR, and etc. This is your directory. D is for directory, read, write, execute. There's different types of permissions, lots of things. Now let's get into the folder. So we're going to change directories, and there's two different ways. Actually, there's three different ways you can do CD. So you can do cd ... which will go down a directory. If you do pwd, which is, I call it present working directory because I think of that's where I'm at the moment. But the technical term is print working directory. Let's go to the home. So we do cd tilde, and you're back in home. If you go back here, it'll show you where you are. So we're back in TryHackMe. All right, so I'm going to type in clear to clear the terminal. That's another new command that's not listed on there. And then we're going to do cd to, let's go to folder 1. Let's see what's in there. ls. Okay, nothing. Okay, we're going to go to cd folder 2. Nothing. Okay, we're going to cd back to home and then cd to folder 3. Nothing. Okay, ls. All right. Is everything empty today? Please tell me that is not the case. cd to folder 4. ls. Oh, look what we have here. A note.txt. Let's investigate what's inside of it. So you're not going to use ls because you're not listing anything at this point. You're going to be reading the information. So you're going to use cat, and unfortunately, no, it is not the kitty cat that you like to see online or in person, like on TikTok or something, or even like a YouTube short of a cute kitten. No, this is meant for concatenating things, or you can read files. So let's do cat and note.txt to see what's inside. What do you know? It's hello world with an exclamation point. These are the 4 different types of Linux commands that you can use that are very common when you are doing some Linux system administration. In cyber, we notice that you can see important files, documents, notes, pictures, etc. We already did that there. I'm sorry if I'm scrolling fast. Yeah, we talked about that too. Yep, we did pwd. Let's answer some questions. On the Linux machine that you deploy, how many folders are there? As you can see, we saw 4 folders and we saw 1 access log. So the answer is 4. Which directory contains a file? The only one that we saw after going through 3 empty folders, the last folder was folder 4. So therefore it is folder 4. What is the contents of this file? Hello world with an exclamation point. We saw that. No, there is a bug. It's clearly got an exclamation point. That's fine. Use the cd command to navigate to this file and find out the new current working directory. What is the path? So after you cd, actually, if I do present working directory, it'll show you right there. Let's copy and paste this. It's going to be home, TryHackMe in folder 4. And you press submit. That is the right answer. We are zooming through everything today, which is great. When I tried to do this early with y'all, my internet was so slow. Task 6, searching for files. Yep, after doing cd, ls, we're going to use find. And you know what's great besides find? Grep. Let's get into that. And let's go to home before I start doing things, clearing things out. So let's do this real quick. So find is a command to, like it says, to discover specific information that you are looking for. In this case, you can do find tag name to look for a name of something. And in this case, we're looking for passwords.txt. This is not in this specific Linux operating system. This is just an example. That's why you're not finding anything. Let's say we're trying to find note.txt, right? Well, it tells you that it's in the 4th folder, right? But let's say we want to find this a lot faster because we have deadlines and we're really busy. And we like automating things. We like to make things faster and better because we are trying to be a better Linux system administrator. So let's use the asterisk, which finds anything that has the .txt file. And what do you know? It's the same thing. Tells you for sure that it's going to be in folder 4 of note.txt. Now you might be thinking, well, we found it first with just .txt. Well, think about it. If it's a Linux system, this Linux system could have thousands of files. And you don't want to go through that manually. If you can use the asterisk, use the asterisk. It will save you a lot of time and energy and money. That's what I like about Linux. It does a lot of great things, the right commands. Now we're going to look at the access log, and we're in the home directory. So this is a good news story because I remember I did this the first time I was in folder 4. So this time we're going to be looking at the access log, and we're going to be looking at how many entries are in the access log. WC means word count, and when you pair it with TAC-L, it's going to list as many possibilities that there are within the access log. So when you put that in, it's going to be 302 entries. Now in this example, it has 244 because that's an example. You can also look at specific IP addresses with using grep, but because we don't have a specific IP address that we're investigating in this case, we're going to be looking at something else, which has a prefix of THM. If you know what that is TryHackMe. It wants to make sure we are in the right directory. We are, which is great. So I'm going to clear that real quick. And we will grep with quotes THM because we're going to specifically look for TryHackMe access.log. Now there's so many different ways of doing this. In this case, it's going to have a red highlight with this get that says access. So this is a get request, and it's with HTTP 1.1. So much valuable information if you're into pen testing, red teaming, etc., even purple teaming, blue teaming. This is really good information to find out. So the answer for this one is going to be THM access, and I gave you a hint with the brackets. Now, folks, if you didn't know what that was, you can use a hint button, and hints are great. They're great not just for TryHackMe, it's also great for any CTF that you're doing or cybersecurity competition that you're doing, especially with one from the ATC community. We had one back in February, so that was a few months ago. Can you believe that? That was such a fun one. And thank you again for all the participants and our sponsors and our CTF engineers, the whole team, the whole community. Really appreciate it. And I'm so glad we're going to do another one for next year. Looking forward to it. Okay, so we're going to submit that. According to the directions here, it says I still haven't found what I'm looking for. All right, so we're just going to press complete. But hey, at least we're getting better at searching files. Task 7, an introduction to shell operators. So many operators. So we have ampersand, we have double ampersand, we have one redirect, and we have the same thing, but it's double the amount, and it will append. And if English is not your first language, it means at the end, append instead of replacing. So nothing's overwritten. It just will take care of whatever's out there at the end. It goes deeper into these operators, and if you use this, you've seen this a lot with like Python, JavaScript, even Bash, and this is really, really great. You will use this a lot, just letting you know, as well as this one here. So let's do echo, hey, welcome. What we're doing here is we're using a redirect. So we're going to literally take whatever is the result from this command, and it's going to be sent to somewhere else. So when we do cat welcome to see what's inside, we're going to see hey, because remember from before, echo is a command to use to give the output of whatever you're putting in, like echo ATC. If you did echo, if you did echo ATC, welcome, you're going to, and you cat that, you're going to see ATC. So now for the operator with the redirect, it's called an output redirector. So if we did echo hello, output redirect, and welcome, and then we can welcome. We're going to see ATC and we're going to see hello. So it added or appended hello at the end of ATC. It did not change anything. It just added to the existing welcome file. Let's answer some questions. If we want to run a command in the background, what operator would we want to use? And or ampersand. If I want to replace the contents of file name passwords with the password 123, what would my command be? It would be echo password 123 with the one redirect and then passwords. Awesome. Now, if you want to add or append TryHackMe to this file named passwords, but also keep passwords 123, what would my command be? So it's very similar to before. It would be echo TryHackMe output redirector and then passwords. Now we use deploy machine to put these into practice. Awesome. We already did that technically with my example that I did before. Now we are at the end, conclusion summaries. We'll do that in the future. We will also do a Linux fundamentals part 2, which I think is really great. Awesome. We finished the first Linux fundamentals part 2 room. You press next. You can share this on any platform that you like, but LinkedIn is the one I would personally go to, but it's up to you. If you want to post on all 3, you can post to all 3. And you earned your first badge called First 4, and you can share your badge, which I would do. And again, it gives you all different options. If you don't know, folks, we have a new mini vlog that is out, and I went to New York City, and I will say this again. 미안합니다. Or 죄송합니다. Lo siento mucho. I'm really sorry for not meeting you in NYC. For those who live in NYC, it was a last minute trip. So I will make a mini cyber meetup in the future so we can all have lunch or dinner together and hang out for a bit in the future. It was a last minute trip. If you were in K-Town, you would have saw me because that's where I was at most of the time. I am also a private tutor. I'm a private tutor on Wyzant. I think it's Wyzant, WYZANT. Sorry if I said it wrong. Teach some Korean. I'm definitely improving more in Spanish. I've noticed that I can have more conversations in Espanol. So if you want to talk to me in Spanish, come to the International Language Exchange. And it's free, by the way. And I also am a cybersecurity tutor. So if you need help with Security Plus, Linux, AWS, literally anything that has cybersecurity in there, networking, etc., I want to help you out. And if you want to learn more about it, I will send you a link. Just comment private tutor and I will send you a link. Thank you everybody so much for watching in today's session. So here is a free Linux command line book by William Schatz. You can learn about all things with Linux. You can learn how to write shell scripts. It's free in PDF format. Highly recommend. And if English is not your first language, no worries. They have it available in these languages here: Korean, Serbian, Chinese, Russian, Polish. And there's also community translations available for also Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Romanian, Farsi, Arabic, Dutch, French, and Kurdish. And all the things we talked about today, you can learn how to write the shell scripts from scratch, and it's not as hard as you think. And you can use a text editor to write your script. So you might be thinking, well, why is this a good idea? If you use something like a compiler, it can take a long time to run a lot of things that are within code and scripts. And that's why I like text editors like VI or Vim or Nano. There's so many different ones. There's Emacs, gedit, kwrite, etc. It will give you a sample of how you can write your own first script, so you don't have to do things manually. You don't have to always type in echo, quotes, hello world. You can just save that command in a file and run it say script, and bam, there you go. You're starting to automate things. And this is a really good skill to have in cybersecurity. So I highly recommend getting into this book. This is a great book for teaching about Linux system administration. It'll be in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out.